Why is India becoming more Western, and why are so many Westerners now interested in India? Well, you see, there's a karmic law and God working with that karmic law to balance these things. The East and the West in this age need to be balanced, and the virtues of each need to be shared and equaled out in other countries. So many people in America have Indian souls, you might say. They've been, their normal birth would have been in India and have been more spiritual. And you find very many Americans, especially young ones, interested in the philosophy of India. When I was young, back in the 40s, nobody was interested. I suppose some were, but I never heard about it. And later on, I found that everybody knew such words as karma and yoga and dharma and all these things. I didn't hear any of them. It was a particular and peculiar karma of mine that one week I didn't know anything. The next week I'd read autobiography of a yogi and was saying to my guru, I want to be your disciple. And that was 60 years ago. And I've never weakened in that resolve. But I was born a little ahead of my time in that way, perhaps to help others who would come along with the same thing. Now, the same thing I found true in India, that many of the businessmen there look like Wall Street brokers to me. They don't have an Indian bhav, an Indian outlook or attitude towards life. And in India, they think anything American must be great. That is to say, these kinds of people do. But finally, God is trying to equalize the two so that America will become more spiritual and India will become more balanced. I know when I met the president of India, who at that time was Abdul Kalam, and he asked me, because I had been in India for 4 years from 1958 to 62, and he asked me, how do you like the changes that you see? And I said, I have to admit that they are disappointing from the standpoint of a sadhu, of one who is seeking God, because they are obviously, there's a tendency toward materialism that is almost seized India by the throat. But I said also, I don't think India will ever get away from its true karma and dharma of spirituality. This is a necessary phase for India to be able to take its own place on a par with the great nations of the world. But this phase will be balanced out in time. India needs to become materialistically efficient as India needs to become spiritually efficient. So I would say one more thing. Somebody said to Anandamoyi Ma, a great woman saint in India, he was expressing worry about the directions the planet is going in. She said, why concern yourself? He who created this world, don't you think he knows how to take care of it? I would say don't worry your head about it. Realize that finally, the more you have of God, the more you can bring peace into this world. Your duty is to find Him.